Hey everybody, it's Brooke with the Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. It is the time of year that we love to do all things pumpkin, and today we're going to show you how to enjoy some pumpkin cheesecake brownies that are low carb friendly. You will not want to miss this one. It is yummy and delicious, and I guarantee you'll want to make it as soon as you finish this video, so stay with us. Okay, so you can certainly do this in the microwave, but I am taking 3/4 a cup of butter and going to melt it with 4 ounces of dark chocolate. I'm just going to add a little at a time, and we just want it to melt. We don't want it to get hot, we don't want it to boil, we don't want it to do all of the things. We're not making candy, we're just melting the chocolate along with the butter to go into the brownies. So I like to just get the butter started and then add the chocolate a little bit at a time. And we're using dark chocolate here because there is less sugar in dark chocolate than milk chocolate. So it's always a good alternative whenever you are baking to use dark chocolate. We're going to get that butter melted and finish adding in our chocolate. We just don't want the chocolate to burn while the butter melts. I'm doing this over medium to high heat. You can certainly do this in the microwave. Put it all in a microwave safe bowl and then do it in 30-second bursts to get everything nice and melted. But if I have the time, I always just like to do it on top of the stove. That way I don't overdo it, because sometimes the microwave can be kind of powerful. So that is 4 ounces of dark chocolate pieces. You can either buy the whole and chop it up, or do like I did and buy the dark chocolate chips. 3/4 cup of butter. Now, everything's melted. I'm going to turn it off and remove it from the heat. Very important here that you remove it from the heat. Now, to a large bowl, I am going to add in 1 1/4 cup of sugar replacement. I'm using Swerve. This is just granulated sugar replacement. But feel free to use whatever you would like to use. It really just doesn't matter all that much. Now, to the sugar, I'm going to add in our melted chocolate. This will help temper the chocolate and help it cool so that when we add our eggs, we won't get scrambled eggs. And it helps kind of combine the chocolate and the sugar replacement together to get a good cohesive mixture. So we're just going to combine those to become a chocolate sugar replacement mix. Because they're brownies, right? So that already looks like brownie batter. Just make sure you get it nice and mixed in until that sugar kind of liquefies, making sure you don't have any dry spots. Now I'm going to check the temperature to make sure it's not too hot. And it's not. It feels pretty good. I'm going to remove my spatula. And then I've got 3 eggs that I'm going to add one at a time and just mix them with my hand mixer. Well, 2 went in the pool at the same time, but that is a-okay. I just want to mix that until the eggs are combined with the chocolate and the Swerve. Make sure we get all those egg whites in there incorporated well, because the whites sometimes can be the hardest to kind of break up. All right, we got that good and mixed in, so I'll just set it to the side there. Now we're going to add in some other components. We're going to add in our vanilla and mix it well too. And we have 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're just going to give that a slight mix just to get the vanilla incorporated. And now I have 1 cup of almond flour that I'm adding in. And then we're going to add in our baking powder. And we need to add in 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I just like to tap my spoon off. Sometimes it gets a little sticky. And we're going to mix those well in as well on a low setting. Because we don't want this chocolate brownie batter all over our kitchen. We want it in the brownies. Now we only want to mix this just until it comes together. So I'm going to be done with my hand mixer at this point. And then we're going to add in our salt. Because we're making something sweet, we got to have a little salt. So I'm going to add in about half a teaspoon of salt. And just use my spatula to kind of fold that in and scrape down the sides. This gets the salt mixed in, helps you look for any dry spots. And it's nice, thick, and good and fudgy. Okay, so we're going to set this to the side. And I'm going to rinse off my beaters because we're about to use them for another application. Because these are cheesecake brownies. So now we got to make the cheesecake portion. Now to another bowl we have 8 ounces of cream cheese. And we're going to doctor it up a little bit. All right, so now to this we're going to add in a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar replacement. And I'm using again Swerve. We'll get that popped in there. Then we're going to add in a 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree. And this is a 15-ounce can, right? Which is almost 2 cups. So if you're like me and you don't feel like measuring, just get out about a 1/4 of the can and pop it in there. Pumpkin puree mixed with this cream cheese this amount is not a lot, so you won't just be overwhelmed with the pumpkin flavor. Now to this we're going to add in 1 egg, another teaspoon of vanilla, and a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Now we're going to use our hand mixer and we're just going to mix this on a low speed until it's nice and combined. Making sure we get that egg incorporated in really well. All right, now that we have whipped that to perfection, we're going to get a pan, a 9 by 13 pan, and spray it really well. You can also line it with parchment paper to make it easier to get out if you wanted to, but for time's sake, we're just going to do this. So we're going to take half of that brownie mix and put it in the bottom of the pan. And just spread it out with our spatula into a nice even layer. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees and just ready and waiting for these delicious brownies. Okay, now that that's all nice and spread out, I'm just going to take my spoon and kind of scrape off the excess here. It really doesn't matter, but just so we can make sure we have all that brownie mix. Now I'm going to take the cheesecake mixture and spoon it right over the top. Every last bit of it. You want to scrape your pan really well and get it all in there. And I like to, on things like this, I like to put it straight down the middle just because it makes it a little easier to spread. And we're just going to spread it out. Wiggle it out over the top of our brownies. If you get a little brownie mix in it, don't worry about it. Now we're going to take the other half of our brownie mix, and I like to do it the same way. Just put it right down the middle. Again, making sure we scrape that bowl really well to get all that brownie mix out. And now this is the fun part. This doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to do the best we can to kind of spread that top brownie mix out over the top of the cheesecake mixture. Just to get it good and even in the pan. Now, so that I won't mess up another dish, I take this end of my spatula and I just swirl it. And you can even take some of that pumpkin that you have on the edges, pull it to the middle, just give it a nice swirl. Scrape that off. Taste it. Then I take the pan and just shake it to redistribute it out like so. So this will go into a 350-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, or depending on your oven, just until I can put a knife or a cake tester in it and it comes out clean. So stay with us. We'll be back to show you the finished product. So we finished about a 28 minute cook time on our pumpkin cheesecake brownies, and let's take a look. They are gorgeous. So we've already been in them, so over half the pan is gone. I apologize. But you can still see this beautiful marbling here, and whenever you cut them, they are gorgeous. You've got that delicious marbling all through the center of the pumpkin cheesecake layer, and it peeks out over the top as well too. They are fantastic. Now let's taste them. You know I already have, but there's just really no substitute for those dark chocolate chips. We only used 4 ounces in this recipe, and mixed with the cheesecake and the sugar replacement and that pumpkin puree, you get a natural sweetness that enhances that dark chocolate. I'm spilling it everywhere. But they are delicious. This is an easy one to whip up anytime you want it. We use pantry staple ingredients. I keep a large bag of almond flour here, and you just don't know. You just have no idea. It's only a cup in here. It's just enough to kind of bind the brownies together. They're fantastic. They're delicious, and they're low carb because we used all that sugar replacement. So I challenge you to try a recipe like this and just taste the difference for yourself, because there is none. This recipe, like all of our others, can be found over at thebutteredhome.com. We would love it if you gave us a visit over there and get your free recipe. While you're there, be sure you sign up for our free VIP email list as well. Also, make sure you're following us on all of our social channels. We have a really good time, and we want you present no matter where we are and what we're doing. We want you to be a part of it. And if you want all of our videos in one convenient place, head over to YouTube, search for The Buttered Home, and when you find us, hit that subscribe button and ding the bell to be notified of when we drop new videos like this one. Okay, I may have to hide the rest of these. All my folks have been in them and they loved them. And that looks like enough for me for the rest of the week, don't you think? As usual, from all of us here at The Buttered Home to your home, we sure love y'all. Bye.